Hello everyone, this is Satyaprakash. Welcome to my channel. In this session, I'll show you how to authenticate in SQL Server. So authentication is nothing but you need to connect to SQL Server database using SQL Server Management Studio, in short SSMS. Okay, so guys, before going through this video of SQL Server, please visit my SQL Server related videos. There is some real-time examples you can get in my playlist called SQL Server tutorial. So guys, in this video I'll discuss few points, that is what is Windows authentication and mixed mode authentication, and second is steps to enable SQL Server authentication. Okay, so guys, here first of all I'll show you what is Windows authentication in SQL Server. So Windows authentication is nothing but I'll show you in this interface. So you can see now, you can see this is the SQL Server Management Studio. This is the client tool. Using this client tool, we'll connect to our SQL Server database. Okay, so here you can see one plug icon. If you click on it, okay, this is the server name. Okay, whatever your system name, it's showing here /SQL Express. Okay, and there is authentication mode. You can see there is many Windows authentication, SQL Server, Azure Active Directory, Azure default. There's many, but in this session I'll discuss only these two authentication modes: Windows authentication and SQL Server authentication. So Windows authentication, it does not require any credentials, so it will take by default your user credentials and it will authenticate the user to access the database. So if you select the Windows authentication and click connect, you can successfully come to your interface like in database security server objects. That means your SQL Server database connection is successfully established. Okay, so next is how SQL Server authentication. So if you click on SQL Server authentication, you can see there is login and password it is asking. Okay, so if you click on connect, so there is no credentials, so I'm getting one exception here. So how to enable this SQL Server authentication for security reason, because if you enable this SQL Server authentication, it will be specific to the particular user, so other users cannot access your database. So it is important for your SQL Server security for best practices. So guys, here I'll show you how to do it. So first of all, I need to connect using Windows authentication. Click OK and right click on desktop, whatever you're showing in the address, click properties. If you click properties, you will select here okay, in general you will get some your name, product, what is your operating systems, and the related using the SQL Server database. Okay, and if you click on security, so in security there is server authentication was Windows authentication mode and SQL Server and Windows authentication. So these are both. That means it is called mixed mode authentication. Okay, so you need to select this radio button and do the whatever selection as it is. Okay, and click OK. And if you select one by one option here, memory there's not required, processors not required, security as I told, you need to select this option, connections, database settings, advanced, and permissions. So this is not required any changes, only you need to select in security tab, you need to select the radio button, SQL Server and Windows authentication mode, and you need to select OK. Alright, once you will do it, after then you need to click on this expand your security folder. So you can see there is logins. Okay, so in logins you'll get whatever you see the users, it's by default while you install your SQL Server database. Okay, so here we need to configure our login credentials for SQL Server authentication. So by default it will be showing as SA. SA is nothing but the default username created by the SQL Server database. It is the administrator. So I'll show you that is using one newly created login credentials. So click on logins, new logins. Okay, and new logins you need to select here, that is any Satyaprakash. Okay, and SQL Server authentication. So here we'll type our whatever your password, and confirm password. It should be same. Okay, and here you can see there is 3 checkboxes: enforce password policy, password expirations, and use must exchange password at the next login. So you just uncheck this. Once you uncheck only one enforce password policy, it will be automatically uncheck the remaining checkboxes related to policy. Okay, and there is nothing to change here, and go to server roles. So server roles, it is the public, and you need to select one more option, system sysadmin. And user mapping, you need to select this SQL Server databases, by default databases, and this is the database name I have created, but you need to select this remaining databases what SQL Server default databases. Okay, and okay, also here you need to select one more checkbox like DB_owner. Okay, if you select here DB_owner, okay, and here is not required, and temp_db, okay, DB_owner. Okay, and there is one more securables. Okay, securables not required anything. And status, you need to permission to connect database engine, you need to select as a grant, and login is enabled. So we need to verify again. This is the login names, SQL Server authentication. You need to put your password and confirm password, uncheck your enforce password policy. Okay, and make server roles as public sysadmin. And user mapping, you need to select your this databases. Okay, and these are the you need to give the roles as per the requirements. Okay, and these are the databases names which are created by the SQL Server by default. And securables section is not required. Status is as it is, grant and enable should be selected. Once you do it, you just go your generals, just re-verify your things and click OK. Once you click OK, you can see this login name is created successfully under the logins. Okay, and once you do it, you just right click on the security, refresh, and also you just click on the desktop whatever the server name and click refresh. Okay, and once you do it, you just go your disconnect it. Okay, you just verify the login names, that is Satyaprakash. Okay, and here we need to disconnect and connect again, and this time we'll authenticate using the SQL Server authentication. So Satyaprakash, and whatever password we have given, we'll do it. And remember, password should be checked, and click connect. So once you click connect, is successfully connecting, right? If you select your server name, it's showing your login name here, Satyaprakash. Okay guys, so once you created your if you create your first time logins, okay, and after login, if you connect your SQL Server authentication using their credentials and it is not connecting or it is failed, what you will do is you just right click on it. Okay, you just go to disconnect, connect again, Windows authentication mode, and click connect. Okay, so for Windows authentication it is showing your desktop name. Okay, so after creating your login username, so while you connect your SQL Server authentication using your login credentials and it is not connecting, you are getting some exceptions. So in that scenario, what you will do, just right click on it, click on a restart. Okay, if you click on a restart, you will get one pop-up here, that is, are you sure want to restart the MS SQL Server on your this desktop name? So click yes. Once you click yes, you will get this loading bar. It will make some changes whatever you're doing, creating your login username and password for SQL Server authentication. Okay, so guys, again what you'll do, you just disconnect it, connect again, and select your SQL Server authentication. Okay, and put your username, password, and remember password should be checked, and click connect. Once you click connect, you can successfully connect your SQL Server using your SQL Server authentication. And how to identify, you can see there is one after your desktop name slash SQL Express and SQL Server version names hyphen, this is the showing as Satya Prakash. Okay, that means this is your login username. So in this way we can configure SQL Server authentication in SQL Server database. Okay, there is few definitions here. So guys, here that is Windows authentication. What is Windows authentication? Is the default one. So it is referred as integrated security because this SQL Server security model is tightly integrated with the Windows. So Windows so Windows users who have already been authenticated don't need to add credentials. So what is mixed mode authentications? So if you must use mixed mode, so you must have created SQL Server logins which are stored in SQL Server. So mixed mode means both SQL Server authentication and Windows authentication. So you then have to supply the SQL Server username and password at runtime, whatever I shown you in the steps. It supports the authentication both by Windows and SQL Server. So the authentication mode by SQL Server is called SQL Server authentication. So in this authentication, the user needs to put login and password. And there is one more important thing is SQL Server login name. So SQL Server installs with a SQL Server login named SA. What I have shown you here. So if you click on expand the security logins, so there is by default there is a SA username is created, okay, by the SQL Server. So that's I mentioned here. So it is an abbreviation of system administrator. So the SA login maps to the sysadmin fixed server role. So that's all about the definition of Windows authentication, mixed mode authentication, SQL Server authentication, and SQL Server login names. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.